day of the week. So listen to The Jive at 5 Mondays through Friday at 5 of 5, and you too can be an educated listener. You're listening to 88.1 FM WESU Middletown, a community service of Wesleyan University. Up next is The Business Buzz with Jeff Sherman, taking a look at innovative and cool technology and businesses right here in Connecticut. Catch The Business Buzz each and every Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. as part of our Monday through Friday 4 p.m. local talk block, only on 88.1 FM WESU Middletown.
The Business Buzz on WESU is proudly sponsored in part by Carlson and Demir, located right here in downtown Middletown. Carlson and Demir providing legal representation for victims of serious injury and for those facing criminal charges. On the web at carlsondemir.com, 860-819-1034.
And welcome to another edition of the Business Buzz. We have a great musical theme today. We have Tom Force, the Suit, who is a excellent musician, great all-around guy, and he just came out with a new CD that we're going to feature. And he is playing where?
I am Saturday night doing a new album release at Black Eyed Sally's in Hartford. Starts at 9 o'clock. We'll probably go to midnight. Got some great guests, local guys.
I haven't stayed up to midnight. No, I'm just kidding. There you go. All right.
I'm in bed if I'm not playing.
Exactly. Well, Tom, it's going to be awesome. Yeah. And we got Marty Keena in Studio B as well as Chris Calandra. And you have a special guest with you, Chris, don't you?
I did bring a very special guest. Lindy Brock, who works with me at Elliott Wealth Management, is going to join us on probably the second half of the show, and should be a good discussion.
Excellent. Well, Tom's new CD is called On Fire, and you know something, I talk about this a lot on the show, that some a lot of artists become irrelevant, and I actually shared this CD with someone I knew, a young person, Chris. He's a student at Litchfield High School, and he's a drummer and a really good musician. And I wanted his critique. And without further ado, Tom, what do you think? We'll give him a whirl.
Only if I know his address.
There you go. Chris, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Awesome. Now, before we get into Tom the Suit's new CD called On Fire, let's talk a little bit about your musical endeavors.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
you're a drummer, right?
Yeah, I've been playing music for a while. I really enjoy it. It's probably one of my favorite things to do.
And how long you've been playing the drums?
I've been playing for about 7 years. I picked it up when I was around 7. So.
And who is your favorite drummer, either current or historical?
My favorite drummer, probably right now, Max Roach. He's a great jazz drummer. He's just got something about the way he plays. It's pretty awesome.
Very nice. How about Ringo Starr? You like him?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. I went with Marty, as a co-host of mine on the show, Chris, and we saw, I think I might have even talked to you about that, we saw the Beatles movie, and I never thought that Ringo Starr was such a great drummer, but when you see the movie, it blows your mind. It's amazing. So speaking of blowing your mind, what do you think of Tom's new album called On Fire?
Okay, that was a great album, honestly. There was, the entire time, it just I wanted to listen to the next song. You know, the guitar solos were awesome.
Yes, that's what he does. I think he's a first-rate guitarist.
Like, the guitar solos are incredible. I was just sitting there like, oh my God, this dude he must be playing for like at least 50 years or something. Like, he
doesn't look a day over 30.
Here's the sad thing. I've been playing longer than you've been alive.
Yeah, like, it's insane. So
you really liked it? Is there and do you think like it really kind of like really was like cutting edge and not just historical, correct?
yeah, I would say so. I was listening to the album with a couple of my friends, and
did they like it as well?
they did. The only critique that any of us had were that it just seemed like the vocals there might have been something missing that made it completely like an insane album. You know, it's just one.
And that would be kind of a minor thing, correct?
Yeah, just a minor fix. I don't know. Yeah.
There you go. Well, but other than that, you and your friends, obviously teenagers, thought it was first class.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much. And what's your future plans in terms of musicianship?
Oh, well, you know.
Do you someday want to go with that in terms of into your future playing music?
Yeah, definitely.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
Don't listen to him. I heard
don't
you.
do it.
I was, Chris, I was very impressed with you when I heard you. I thought you were awesome. So carry on, and thanks so much for joining us on the show.
you.
Anything else you'd like to add? Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that's it.
Great. I'm going to give you his previous CD, which I would say he kind of teens with, I would say, kind of an urban kind of a theme, kind of a rap scene. Right. And we get some really good tunes to that. So next time I see you, I'll give you that CD. How does that sound?
That sounds awesome.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, I did that on purpose. My previous life was in marketing, and you got to talk to the people, my friend, and that's a young guy who's a musician, knows what he's doing, and he thought your stuff rocks.
Wow. Where do I send a check?
You can send it to Jeffrey L. Sherman.
Studio A.
There you go. So without further ado, you got a big, big gig tomorrow night,
Absolutely.
don't you? Let's talk about that tomorrow night gig.
Yeah. I have some great people coming along with me. I've got Dave Stoltz on bass. He has played with people like the Allman Brothers. He played with Dickie Betts.
And he plays what instrument?
He's
Bass.
a bass player.
There you go.
From West Hartford.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to high school with him.
Oh
we
my
won't hold that
God.
against him.
Oh my God.
And then I saw also you have Grace, who's playing sax.
Nobody's playing sax.
No, on your album.
Oh, on the album. Yeah, Grace Kelly.
I thought she died like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, you set him up for that one there,
Yeah,
Prince.
it's a funny thing. She couldn't be any more than, I'm thinking, 17 years old. She walks into the studio, right? And my producer, Paul Nelson, who's a Grammy-winning producer, he's done a ton of albums. He was in charge of my album, believe me. And he said, we're going to put her on this song.
And you were kind of a little apprehensive, I would think, right?
I said, no.
That's more than apprehensive.
There you go.
It was
Yeah.
decisive.
I said, listen, no beginners on this album. So she takes out her saxophone, and I'm shaking
And she
my
goes to
head.
like high school or right out of high
No,
school?
she's graduated college.
Okay.
So she's probably 21,
25,
I
something,
guess,
whatever.
But she looks 15, I swear.
Got it. Okay.
I hope she's not listening. Anyway, she was the best thing I have ever heard in my life. As a matter of fact, on the one cover there is called Grapevine. Everybody knows that song. She did the song as a practice, but luckily the technician actually recorded it. So when she said, okay, I'm ready to do it, I asked him if he recorded it. When he said yes, I said, just leave that. It can't be any better than that.
Well, speaking of can't be any better than that, we got your new CD. It's called On Fire. You're going to be at Black Eyed Sally starting at 9. Right. I'm going to have to probably sleep till 10, tomorrow,
me too.
Tonight, because you know
Take a
I
nap when I get home.
nap. No more History Channel for Mr. Sherman. No more
Seltzer.
No more milk and
Sure,
no more
History
no more
Channel.
milk and cookies.
Yeah.
So so I'm gonna have to get my rest. So what do you think the first song we should play would in your you know
well,
it, you did it. So tell me.
let's start with the Wolves at the Door. It'd be interesting to see what people's what they think that is.
And
The
that
Wolf.
is
Number one.
I
know. I'm
Number
making it
one
easy.
with a bullet, as they used to
Making
say
it
in the
easy for
50s.
you.
And this is the new CD. We got Tom
top of the
Force,
chart.
The Suit, and the CD's called On Fire. Tom, The Suit Force, he is an exceptionally great musician, as you will soon discover.
Stop what you're doing and listen to me. He's just around the bend. Open up your eyes, you'll see. Put down that goddamn phone and look outside. I know he's coming, he's got hell on his side. The wolf's out the door and he's coming after you. The wolf's out the door. You don't have a clue. The wolf's out the door and he's coming on strong. The wolf's out the door and it won't be long before you hear scratching on your window pane. Fear and confusion will surely drive you insane. He's hungry, waiting, so just walk outside. Your life is over, nowhere for you to hide. The wolf's at the door and he's coming after you. The wolf's at the door, but you don't have a clue. Life's gonna change and there's one thing for sure. That ain't no puppet, no. The wolf is at the door. You just sleep soundly while you slip away. You think it's gonna be just another day. You just roll over, go back to sleep. Dream about the good life while you are counting sheep. What's at the door? The wolf's at the door. Wolf's at the door. The wolf's at the door.
All right, welcome back to the Business Buzz, a little untraditional show, but we still invite our listeners to call in. A lot of them are very big on the music scene. 860-685-7700, 685-7700. We had a critique from a very young individual, a musician himself, but we'd love your input on Tom Force, The Suit's new CD called On Fire. I'm not just saying this because, we go back a little bit. Marty, I thought that rocked.
Yes, it did. And
Gee, how...
well,
gee,
Studio B.
Hello, are we asleep now?
Asleep
my
at the Wheel. That's
God,
another great
Jesus.
band.
He's taking a nap, so he's ready for tomorrow
I've
night.
already started. You already
God.
talked me into it.
So yes, Mr. Keno.
No, it's-
Can we get some life support? Anyway, yeah.
No,
so-
it was awesome, and more than anything, it's the engineering. I've spoken to Tom, just the clarity of it. So when you play the CD on your equipment, it jumps out of the speakers.
I would agree.
It's not something that's just a flat sound. There's depth to it, and that actually adds to it.
Now, Chris, you and I agree because, I'm with Marty, a dear friend, great guy. But, it's like
Brilliant.
he's cranking, tunes in his car. And it's like, Billy Bob from 1970. I, want to jump out the window. Like, my rock days are completely over. Please kill me. But I thought that was good. I know you're not a big music guy, but, I think that's awesome.
I think it was awesome, and it seems timeless. That is just great music, and it doesn't matter what type of music you like or what era you like. That's just timeless, good, quality music.
Power chords are timeless. So if you could
There
just
you go.
crank out a couple of power chords
Yeah.
and talk about love and broken hearts, you're good to go.
And I didn't have to nap during it because I'll be all right tomorrow night.
Well, age before beauty. Anyway, so what other song would you like? And again, we invite our
I don't want
listeners
to talk to you guys anymore.
What?
Confusing me.
You should see how it usually goes.
Wow.
So what track should we play next?
Well, I don't think we did this last time. There's a song on here that is extremely special to me. It's called "Women of the World."
I love Women of the World.
And before you play,
Certainly
it, let me,
beats the alternative.
Just kind of give you a little background. I've got my best friend, who is also my writing partner for the last forever, has just passed away, and he wrote the lyrics to "Women of the World." He brought this to me and said, "Don't you think we should write a song?"
Was he sick when? Honestly, when
He was sick.
He's sick. So
Yes.
it was kind of like he kind of
No, it was a shock. He was walking in front of his house and keeled over from a heart attack.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, but the song is, and you'll hear it, but the song
And you're gonna play this tomorrow night? You think?
No.
Whoa!
No, it's a single. I don't want to play it without a big band, and I have a big band.
But you're gonna play a lot of tunes from this.
I'm
CD.
playing them all except for that one.
Awesome. Are you gonna
Yeah.
play from any of from your previous CD?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So there's Women of the World, a subject that we all know and love, and we're talking to Tom Force, the suit, and the track's called, Chris, pay attention, Women of the World. Marty, don't flatline.
What's happened to the world today? Was man born to hate? Down this path there's anger and wrath. Is this our only fate? Since the beginning of time, the world's been led by men. Power, lust, intimidation push us to the end. Who'll stand? Who's gonna conform to change the mind of man? Who's gonna say you done it your way? It's time for a change of plan. We can try to kid ourselves, ignore the truth today. The answer's clear, beginning's here. Now it's time to say that the women of the world should lead this race with everything we define. The women of the world can take their place in time. The women of the world can end the wars, show us how to live in peace.
All right, welcome back. We're previewing the new CD by Tom Force called On Fire. The name of the track, Chris, is Women of the World. And Tom, will you explain that to us?
Yeah. Gary and I decided that we should write a song about what would happen if we gave leadership roles across the world to women.
That kind of talk will get you thrown out of the studio.
That's okay.
No, just kidding. Yes.
I'd rather be thrown out by men, believe me.
Yeah, I hear you. So that's a really cool concept. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, it's just my opinion. It was Gary's opinion that women have a different thought process. They have a different.
I think they're more evolved. How does that sound?
Yeah, I would. My wife will. Well, I should have my wife here. She'll tell you.
Well, when next time
She's
you come
more
on,
evolved.
bring the better half. There you
Call
go.
in.
Yeah, I'll call her. But it's less ego driven. I think decisions made by women, at least in my experience, have been for the general good of whatever they were doing.
I like that. I think that's very insightful because I think they would draw from a wider array of perspective versus I'm telling you what to do, blah, blah, blah. And I think if you look at history, women have made actually great leaders.
Then there
Golda
have
Meir,
been some right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, she was a tough lady.
This is not like a new idea, it's just an idea that hasn't perhaps.
Well, I like the song. Let's talk a little bit more about your gig tomorrow night.
Sure.
Hopefully, Chris is going to make it. He's going to have to be the youth in the organization.
He's going to throw off the curve.
There you go. Yeah, but I love live music. Marty will attest. I think if you can't play live, you can't play. How does that sound? Don't you agree with that, Tom?
I do if you're playing something I have live.
There you go. Well, let's have a little dab into you, a little jam, and we're going to look at what you're doing tomorrow before we do this. So you're playing where? Black Eyed Sally's?
Black Eyed Sally's. Got some great people. Slam Allen is coming along. This is not a jam in any way. He's going to come and play a couple of songs of his. Slam Allen is an international touring blues musician.
This is going to be an amazing show.
Yeah.
And speaking of amazing, here's a little clip from you for the Paramount Theater in New York. Welcome back to the Business Buzz. Chris, again, not a big aficionado. I don't mean that in any derogatory way, but you have to say that it's a pretty good jam.
Excellent. Excellent.
And then one thing I love, I was talking to Tom before the show, I love guitar. I love live guitar. I think it's amazing, and I believe that Tom gets it done, doesn't he?
He does, and I agree with Chris, the young caller from earlier, that the guitar solos are really, really special.
And we're going to...
Thanks.
For our listeners out there, tomorrow night, Black Eyed Sally's in Hartford, Connecticut. You can see this firsthand. I mean, this is first-class stuff. Tom is a world-class guitarist and a great musician, songwriter, and it's all going to be at Black Eyed Sally's tomorrow night. And Marty's going to be taking his Geritol. And what
shots, Geritol shots.
What song do we want to close with, Mr. Forrest?
You know what? There's a song in there called "Play Like the King."
Play like Mr. Sherman. Oh, I mean, play like the King.
Like
there
the
you
King.
go. Play like the King. Oh, number 2. And tell us a little bit about this song.
Every guitar player plays fast. That's what we do. But the great guitar players can also play really meaningful slow. And
who's some of your top 2 the people would know favorite guitarists?
Well, that's what I'm saying here. This is the King, and I'm not going to say who the King is because
you are the King, baby.
I want people to say, "Oh yeah, he does." That is like the King.
Okay, can we play it and then you're going to tell us who the King is?
No way.
All right, there you go. He's a typical musician.
Hey, yeah.
They got a little
secret sauce.
They got a little edge to them. I like that. Okay, there you go. It's called Play Like the King.
I've seen some guitar players down in Bourbon Street. They're blazing fast and they knock me off my feet. I've heard some six-string slaves in Memphis, Tennessee. Plays hard with
Play Like the King. And the King is in studio, and the King, Gary Forrest, the Suit, will be playing at Black Eyed Sally's. The show starts at 9 o'clock.
Right.
I will be there. My first rock show in many years, but I'm very much looking forward to it.
You have to do it straight. You know
There's
what I mean?
that goes without question.
Okay.
You know me.
All right.
And I'm very much looking forward to it. And for our listeners out there, again, one more shout out. It is we'll be at Gary Forrest will be with his new
or his brother Tom Forrest.
There you go, Tom. I'm sorry, Tom Forrest. Never mind.
I mentioned Gary before. I get it.
Tom Forrest will be at Black Eyed Sally's tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, and he's going to be playing and featuring his new CD called On Fire.
I'm giving it away, by the way.
You are.
Ah,
you didn't tell us that.
I'm giving it away to everybody.
Wow.
Anybody show up gets a free CD.
I didn't know that. That's really awesome.
I know you don't get one, but
I don't. You know, I already have like a bunch of them, and I love them. So this is really cool. And again, Black Eyed Sally's, Tom Forrest, the Suit, will be there starting at 9 o'clock, featuring his new CD On Fire. And Tom, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
Awesome. All right, very good. And we'll be back with our usual array of discombobulated discussion after Tom leaves. And Chris, I really think that was really very cool.
It was awesome. I'm looking forward to a show tomorrow night, and he's a great guest.
Thanks. Great guest. Thanks for being on. Appreciate it. Awesome. Appreciate it. So that, again, is very, very cool. And as we segue into politics as we normally do.
Agencies allowed any information that turned out to be so false and fake out. I think it's a disgrace. And I say that. And that's something that Nazi Germany would have done and did do. I think it's a disgrace. That information that was false and fake and never happened got released to the public. As far as BuzzFeed, which is a failing pile of garbage, writing it, I think they're going to suffer the consequences. They already are. And as far as CNN going out of their way to build it up, and by the way, we just found out I was coming down. Michael Cohen is a very talented lawyer. He's a good lawyer in my firm. It was just reported that it wasn't this Michael Cohen they were talking about. So all night long, it's Michael Cohen. I said, I want to see your passport. He brings his passport to my office. I say, hey, wait a minute. He didn't leave the country. He wasn't out of the country. They had Michael Cohen of the Trump Organization was in Prague. It turned out to be a different Michael Cohen. It's a disgrace. What took place, it's a disgrace. And I think they ought to apologize to start with Michael Cohen.
Sir, since you're attacking us, can you give us a question? Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are attacking our news organization.
Your organization.
Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Can you state
She's asking a question. Don't be rude.
Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
You're attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
Go.
Chris, your reaction to that?
I've been waiting for that type of leadership and treatment of the press for a long time.
A little musical kind of thing. I've been waiting for a lifetime. I don't know what song that is. But yes, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. Yes, how refreshing was that? Because let's just not mince words. CNN is fake news. They got it in for the guy, and instead of pussyfooting around, he gave it back to him. Am I not correct, Mr. Calandra?
I love the press. I want the press to be free and tough on our leaders. They're completely unfair. Their coverage is lousy. I don't think they have professional standards like they did generations ago. And for them to be taken to task, I'm all for it.
And we have a special guest in studio. Maybe you can tee that up because I'm going to ask her the same question.
So, yes, you and Marty have met Lindy, who works very, very closely with me at Elliott Wealth Management. She's actually in our Florida office, but she's up for a client event that we're hosting tomorrow. And you were kind enough to invite her along with me onto the show. And this is her first radio experience. This is very exciting. So why don't you put her on the spot right away?
Lindy, what do you think of that little segment I played? And Chris, I know you have to probably say it's the greatest thing ever, but your boss's comment on that, do you agree or disagree with that?
You know, my first reaction, which is that it just made me chuckle. To hear somebody go to the media like that, that's in that position, it's refreshing. It's been a long time coming, and I think it's way overdue.
Marty, your reaction?
I thought it was a little bit an oxymoron. You know, he's telling, don't be rude, don't be rude. He's built his whole, candidacy on rudeness. And so, little payback, the fact that there is an open-endedness to a, press conference to this. And this is one of the reasons why he hasn't wanted to do it, because he didn't want to confront it.
No, with the backdrop of them giving fake news, Chris, despicable 860-685-7700, 685-7700. A despicable, I can't even say it on there, I'm not going to. And CNN ran with it. Are you kidding me, Chris? Are you kidding me?
And past Republican politicians would just take, I'll say, the high road, and they would just let bygones be bygones. They would turn the other cheek.
The lame road.
And that has been unsuccessful because these media folks, not all of them, but many of them, too many of them, they've gotten bolder and bolder and don't even pretend to be unbiased and professional anymore. They're completely, if they're going to treat Donald Trump like he's the opposition and the enemy, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't return the favor and treat them the exact same way, and that's what he does.
I actually got one better for you. If I was his strategic advisor, which I should be because I'm so underutilized in life, I would boycott Lindy, CNN. What do you think of that? I would say, you could show up to my press conference, but no one in my staff, on my staff, and when you're in this press conference, you will not be asked a question. What do you think of that? They've been going. If you watch CNN, it's 24/7. Could it be that Donald Trump's grandfather was Jack the Ripper? It's becoming a caricature of itself. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't even know if it'd make a difference to him.
I think you're right. So we do have a caller on the line. Caller, are you there?
Yes. Hi. I'm Lionel from East Hartford.
Hey, Lionel. I think you were on the show before, weren't you?
Yes.
Great, thanks for calling in again. What's on your mind?
Well, because I got 3 words. Love it, love it, love it.
Whoa, dude, rock on. It's a rock theme, and we're going to rock on because you know something? I think the media is scared. I can't say it on the air. You know what I'm saying? It begins with an S. Lists. They are scared to death. Am I not correct, sir?
Of course.
They are, and this guy doesn't care. Doesn't really, you know what's great about life? When you don't really need a job, that's when you do well. He doesn't need the job, Chris. And he's going to say, F you.
You know why? You know why sometimes I call? Because, I called last time because this is the only place, this is the only station that I could get conservative news. Everything else is just liberal garbage.
Yes, I agree with that, but Marty doesn't like that because, Marty, you like the liberal side of things, don't you? He's in the demographic. He's like him and 5 other people are the only ones that watch the evening news, but that's good, Marty, because they also need that
read
support.
The paper.
There you go. Another dying media. But so you didn't really dig it as our caller says. You kind of find it offensive.
I didn't find it offensive. I found it humorous. I found it strange in that he's telling other people they're rude when he's built his whole career on being rude. And the fact that the rest of the press corps did not come to the aid of that one guy, and they would have said,
that's a good point.
Well, no. I think it is an excellent point. It's an excellent point, but the thing is, the game has changed.
They would have shut the whole thing down and said, well, you don't want to ask a question, I'm out.
No, there's a new sheriff in town, and they know you want the scraps on the table? Here it is. You want to be screwing around? Then I won't do anything, press conferences. I think I was amazed that a lot of them applauded your opinion. I applauded Donald, if you saw that.
I'm probably the only one here that did not see this whole thing happen.
Okay.
I've heard so much about it, and with the clip that you just played, that was why I was over here sort of chuckling.
Chris, were you amazed that they were applauding?
No, I don't think it's. I don't think it's surprising because there's been misbehavior in the press for a long time, and when you see misbehavior and then you see somebody crack down on it, you usually feel pretty good about it. And it's not just people that are watching or listening to that, but also people in the room. They know that some of these folks that are in that room are, I would describe as dirtbags. And I'm not saying that the CNN reporter, I don't know him from a hole in the wall, but even if you hear his behavior, like yelling out and this, that, the other thing, that's as disrespectful and as rude as Donald Trump is.
Because and they don't think of him as the real president caller, correct?
Yep. Excuse me. One more thing. You know some other. I don't know. You guys probably might know this, but you know the Hartford Courant.
Yeah, the paper.
Yeah, Hartford Courant. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I use it. Do you know something? When I change the oil sometimes, and I don't want it to drip, I use the Hartford Courant. That's about where it goes.
Wow, man, they're so fake. They are. Oh my God, horrible.
It's bizarre. They're about as relevant as, let's say, Elvis's Vegas act. It's really kind of done. But thank you so much for calling.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. So I want to play you another clip. I like you're the female and a very accomplished person as well in the studio. I'm going to play you a little clip that I kind of touched on last week, and it's Meryl Streep, a very oppressed person.
Screaming and lamentation this weekend, and I have lost my mind sometime earlier this year, so I have to.
No, it was years ago. Trust me.
Thank you, Hollywood Foreign Press. Just to pick up on what Hugh Laurie said, you and all of us in this room really belong to the most vilified segments in American society right now. Think about it. Hollywood, foreigners, and the press. But who are we? And you know, what is Hollywood anyway? It's just a bunch of people from other places. I was born and raised and educated in the public schools of New Jersey. Viola was born in a sharecropper's cabin in South Carolina, came up in Central Falls, Rhode Island. Sarah Paulson was born in Florida, raised by a single mom in Brooklyn. Sarah Jessica Parker was one of 7 or 8 kids from Ohio. Amy Adams was born in Vicenza, Veneto, Italy. And Natalie Portman was born in Jerusalem. Where are their birth certificates? And the beautiful Ruth Nega was born in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, raised in London. The nicest people is Canadian. And if we kick them all out, you'll have nothing to watch but football and mixed martial arts, which are not the arts.
So, do you think at all, and again, we invite our callers to chime in 860-685-7700, 685-7700. You know, I have a kind heart. Do you have a kind heart?
I don't.
Well, that's because that's why you're so successful. That's why you're so successful with Chris. But does it break your heart that Meryl Streep is oppressed?
It just sounds like she needs a lollipop and a Xanax.
Yeah, I mean it didn't really sound like Meryl Streep. Like if you didn't describe it as Meryl Streep, right, Marty? It didn't really sound like Meryl Streep. But I guess the drama part of their careers has really come out. They are so dramatic about the turn of events. It's insane.
I have to. I'm sorry. We have a caller. We're going to put him on in 2 seconds. But no, you don't know the whole struggle she's been through. No, you don't know. No, this could
Tell us.
This could be a great movie. It could be like Grapes of Wrath. She was born. I'm sorry, I get broken up. She was born to an executive in New Jersey, in the richest part of New Jersey. She went to an Ivy League school, and the rest is just so brutal. But don't you cry at night, Chris? The brutality she's been through.
Yes, but that's why these folks they take themselves so seriously, like vilified. They make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars doing a very specialized and skilled. I'm not saying it's unskilled, but they're just divorced from the reality that the vast majority of Americans are living day in and day out.
I'm sorry to say,
crazy.
Mr. Calandra, I agree with you, but I think, as always, I was right last week. I think they're going to start increasingly alienating their audience. Caller, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. I am a huge fan. I just tuned in, and I am listening. And every point that everyone's making, apart from Marty, I'm not sure how I feel about Marty. But, hey, guys, that's exactly what the world is going through. We're going through a change of the guard.
Changing of the guard, baby. New sheriff in town.
Yes, sir. And these people who think they have the moral authority and have the moral high ground to judge everyone and to make everything about race, about racism, it does not exist.
No, it exists because they want it to exist. They feed on it. I mean, they've been living in this la-la land. And you know something? God. I think Hollywood is going to change over the next 10 years. I think all these entitled, this is called pseudo-intellectuals. Guess what? The train's leaving the station, dude.
Man, I'm so excited. This is finally, it's like literally I was tuning through the channels and you guys came. I'm like, finally, someone who has a point of view that I have. You know, it's like you can't even speak in public because everyone will call you names because you do not have an ideology or
I think that's way true. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it.
What a great caller. And I think that's the vein of thought that Donald Trump has tapped in that no politician for a while on either side of the aisle has really been able to tap into. That enthusiasm that caller has, where he's thinking, finally, somebody represents my views. Finally, somebody's poking back.
Isn't that not why he won?
I believe it is, but
because he had a pent up. Everyone thought Bruce. You know what? Something I also think that rally in Philadelphia did not help Hillary. It hurt her when they had I don't know these people, Perry, Jay-Z, and Bruce Springsteen. By the way, that gig's off the tracks. I mean, he used to be the working man. He's been living in the bubble too long himself. Please go away. It's time for the Greyhound track for you anyway. But yeah, that hurt her because people, when you're worried about your job. And you see these people, in a cocoon talking about things like global warming. I'm saying it's an issue. But when you're about to lose your job, that's not the major issue, is it?
No,
there
it's
you go.
Not at all.
Marty, it's the major issue or not?
No, the issues are switching, and I'm just holding on for dear life.
Yeah, well, there you go. Caller, are you there? Caller? Whoa. Caller, it helps if you turn them on. Yes, caller, are you there?
Yeah, every time I say hello, I'm not there. I don't know what's happening.
You're there now, bro.
You're there. Hurry up. You're on the air. Go ahead.
I just tuned in and I caught the end of something one of you said. And it's a little bit disturbing. I listen to you guys a lot of times. And a lot of times I'm in agreement with what you guys saying. But I don't know if I heard correctly. Like I said, I just tuned in. But I think someone was saying that Donald Trump should not speak to, I don't know which one of the media.
Donald Trump should not what?
Speak to CNN.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, he should not speak to CNN. No, he shouldn't.
Why is that?
Because they've for at least a year, and even when he's won the presidency, 24/7, they're out to undermine him. From a strategic standpoint, it's going to do you no good to talk to the enemy.
That's the media does that all the time. I mean, I can go back and show you.
But I agree with you, sir. I do agree. But there's levels of insanity, and they're obsessed with Donald Trump's demise. It's like become a drug. It's a heroin for them.
But Fox News does that all the time with Democratic leaders.
I know. I would agree with you, sir. I really do. Yeah. But in a milder way. Yes, do they slant things? Yes, they do. You'd have to be a moron to think they don't. But CNN is off the hook. They ran with a story, not checking it. I can't even talk about what they ran with on the air because I still want to be on the air. They ran with it. They didn't fact check. And you talk about fake news? Well, guess what? They're at the forefront of fake news.
Well, I have another comment anyway. I'm not going to elaborate on that too much because it's your opinion against mine. But doesn't it concern you? And it should concern the American public. This guy hasn't shown his tax return as yet. Every president since I've been in this country, I know it's not a law, but it's a requirement, and that is concerning to me. And and the second thing, Donald Trump's business deal. This guy is just wheeling dealing the American public. And in my mind, I mean, I don't want to sound like, I'm a Democrat or a Republican, because I am for a party that really stand up for the people. That's where I am. But this, in my mind, the way how this guy behave, I see this guy as truly con man. I can't find another adjective to describe him. Well, and like I said, it should be concerning to every American. If you have something to hide, it simply means something is wrong. That's what I was taught. Unless there's a double standard. And I mean, that's just what I want to say,
Well, I appreciate your comment. And you know something? I will not totally disagree with you. I think there's parts of Donald Trump that are less than kosher. And you know something? Thank you very much for calling, because I think you had a really good viewpoint. I thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, caller.
So, very good segment. Have you enjoyed being on the show so far?
I feel very welcome.
Yeah, I like Tom was great, wasn't he?
He was wonderful.
And
I got a free CD.
And it's free CD, and I would crank it on the way home. And I believe that. Can you believe the kind of callers we get on this show?
It's pretty cool.
And I think your job's pretty cool, because you work hand in hand with someone I consider a dear friend and someone I respect as a business person, Chris Calandra. I think, Marty, we both agree that not only is he a go-getter, he's extremely ethical, and I do mean that in all sincerity, and I consider him a good friend, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that people in that position have to have a vision. And that's one thing that maybe the last administration is being kind of, jammed down, is that they didn't have a vision. And maybe Trump has a vision. I'm not quite sure what it is. But at this point, getting back to Chris and what he provides a roadmap for people to be successful.
And with their best interest, because, yes,
absolutely,
he wants to be successful for himself. But let's talk about it. Talk about the environment at Elliott Wealth. Chris, I actually, have done some work with Chris, and I was really impressed with the fact that he really does have his client's best interests at heart, doesn't he?
He does. I mean, not only because it's required, but he does. I mean, he's very genuine about it. And I think that's why I've stayed on with him so long, is because you see that and you respect that, and that's the kind of company that you want to be with.
And how is the overall environment at Elliott Wealth? I know you have two real divisions. That is one in Connecticut, the other one in Florida. So I think it's really important. Again, my previous life was in the corporate world. I think the environment is everything for success, both for internally, meaning the personnel, the people that work for the company, and externally, the clients. So how would you describe the environment at Elliott Wealth Management?
Really, the environment, I think we have more of like a family structure. It's not like the corporate environment per se, because that's not really how we work, but we work very closely together. I
think, if I could jump in, Lindy, I think, Jeff, one of the hallmarks, culturally, because we're not a big organization, we're a small business, as we've talked about on the show. It's very entrepreneurial. But when we work with clients, we bring the fact that we're very highly educated in what we do and very experienced. And working with clients, and I think this is what you saw, Jeff, in your dealings with me, is that we take a big picture approach in focusing on clients' needs and wants and their goals and objectives. And we have the strength of a very comprehensive team between the two divisions, having the Florida office and the Connecticut office. I'm a certified financial planner. Lindy is a licensed professional. We have CPAs, other CFPs. We bring a lot of expertise, experience, and a very comprehensive team to help the clients.
Quite a menu of services that are provided, right? And is that something that they need to come to the office and to hear about, or are there places in which they can go and seek that information out?
Well, we have clients all over the country, not just in Connecticut. And one of the things, we talk on the show, right, Marty, is that one of the problems or challenges in my business is that as we work with clients and they get to retirement age and they successfully achieve retirement, what do you think happens? Unfortunately, they leave the state of Connecticut. They go to North Carolina, they go to South Carolina, they go to Florida, they go out to Arizona and Nevada. So we have clients all over. So we deal and use technology to leverage meeting with clients using webinars and other platforms so that we could service the clients even though we may not be in the same town as them on any given day. But folks could go and visit our website. It's www.elliottwealth.com to get more information about our biographies, the services we provide, events we're holding, and the like. So that's a good place to get more information.
And how long have you been together in a in a professional scenario?
Well, I know you joke about my youthfulness in studio, but I've been in this business for 25 years. It's the entirety of my career. I've only been a financial advisor. This is what I was built to do. And the fact that I now have 25 years of experience, although I'm still 46 and blessed to be in the prime of my working career, it's a good combination because we work really, really hard. We're open to new ideas. We're embracing technology. But 25 years of experience is something that's often helpful as you work with clients.
Well, we do have a caller that wants to ask a question about you and your organization. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
And what do you have to say? Well, you have something that you want to ask Chris? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to see how to differentiate between what you see on the news about all the stock markets and things going up and concerns in Europe, and versus what really matters to planning and saving for retirement.
Yeah, that's a good question. I love news, and if you're a fan of the show and listen to the show, I'm a news junkie and a political junkie in terms of news. But it's not a good idea to allow the daily news cycles to affect your long-range business plans. And if you have a good plan and it's well thought out and it's monitored, and you're working in partnership with some professionals, you can pay attention to the news of the day, but it shouldn't cause you to change just based on what's happening in a news cycle in a given day or given weekend. And I know we talk about politics a lot on the show, and I know back in 2008 when President Obama was elected, there was a whole slew of my clients that thought that was the end, that the sky was falling, it was all over, and they were doomed. And those people weren't correct. And you might not like President Obama's administrative policies, but it wasn't the end of the world. And I now, with the election of Donald Trump, have a whole different group of clients that are thinking it's the end of times and this is the worst thing to happen and that they're doomed. It's the same conversation as it was in 2008. It's just I'm talking to a different group of people. And if you have a good plan and you stick to the fundamentals of having a financial plan to achieve your goals and objectives, who is president or what happens in this news cycle or that news cycle is not going to allow you to not achieve your goals.
Great. Thank you very much for the call, Chris. Thank you very much for your insight in that area. And Lindy, we are in our last minute of the show, and you're going to have the honor to play buzzwords with us. It's where we ask basically a little tidbit, let's say a word that's in the news, and you kind of draw association. So, Marty, let's go ahead with some buzzwords.
Okay, how about vetting? The process of vetting.
Well, obviously in the news, right? With the new administration, I think the Democrats are kicking in their heels, but I think it's all for naught, Chris, isn't it?
I think vetting should be a more natural process, but it's now used as a political weapon by both sides, and I think it's unfair to the people that have a chance to serve the public.
No question. That's why very few accomplished people want to go into politics. Go ahead.
Davos.
Pass. Go ahead.
Okay. Debutantes. There was a huge...
They'll be at the ball. I've dated many of them.
Aren't they going to be at Black Eyed Sally's with the suit tomorrow?